Hi there, Star Wars collectors. Welcome to another Bosk's Bounty video, and welcome to episode 4 of Only One Bosk, where myself and my good buddy Nick are going through our top 5 vintage collection figures and card backs throughout the different films and media. But before we get onto that, I just want to say welcome to my good friend Nick. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, Tim. Just recovering from the you-know-what, being able to dodge it until now, but still just no sense of smell at all still. But anyway, I'm getting there.
Yeah, so if anyone was wondering where last week's episode was, that was because unfortunately Nick, as he says, was unwell, but he is back, which is great. And we're going to be going through our top 5 of the episode 1 figures, the Phantom Menace. Now, I think I did a bit of a count. I think there's about 16 or 17. I don't think we're going to be including any specials like the Jar Jar and Carbonite. This is just purely the numbered vintage collection figures from the main line, and they're the ones that we're going to be including. So if you are watching this right now, let us know your top 5 in the comment section below. We always want to know your top 5s and also your worst, because we will be doing that as well. And I found my worst pretty easy to pick, but you might be different, my friend. So with all that being said, drop a like down below on the video if you happen to enjoy it, and we're going to get straight onto the first one. And who would you like to go first this time, Mr. Only One Kenobi?
Should I go first? Since
you can go first. You're the guest. You can always go first.
Well, this is one of my favorite card backs in all the vintage collection, but I can't put it at top because of the fact that it's let down by the figure. But this is a brilliant card. It's obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi. In fact, I'd say that's my favorite Obi-Wan card.
Right.
You know what I mean? Out of all the Ewan McGregors, that's brilliant. That, look at it. I love that bit. And it's snatched from the movie. That fires up just before he goes in with Maul. The figure, though, I've never liked that figure. I thought the ones from 1999 in the Phantom Menace line looked more like Ewan McGregor than that. I don't know what's going on. That definitely needs an upgrade. That, and he's gone up in value a lot recently, hasn't he? What with when Obi-Wan was, the series was announced and all that, he rocketed. You used to be able to pick that up for nothing.
Right. I didn't notice that. No. But what I did just notice about you holding that one up is because I don't have a lot of my prequel trilogies on my wall, just purely because of space. So the ones I do have tend to be clone figures from mainly Revenge of the Sith, basically.
Right.
And what I did notice when you're holding that card up there is the lights on the back. That reminds me of the new Obi-Wan card from the Obi-Wan series, even though that's blue.
That's exactly. That is another thing. I mean, that whole sequence, when I saw the Phantom Menace in the cinema, I thought, wow, I was getting strong Return of the Jedi vibes. The whole the shaft and all that, and the cutting around for battles and stuff. But that's lovely, that, and it very Star Wars.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. Okay, my number 5 is Mr. Qui-Gon Jinn, VC75, and I think the head on this could be better. But I love the card back because I love the scene. This for me is the best scene at the end, obviously, with the fight between with Obi and against Maul. And I just love the character of Qui-Gon in the film.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have not had him in my top 5. And actually, that's a figure that I don't have loose. I would like one of those loose. So if they ever get round to reissuing that one, which I'm sure they will at some point, I'll definitely be
updating that, couldn't they, as well?
Yeah.
He looks good facing away. On my shelf, I have him facing to, and him facing away. For facing two droider cars, battle droids, or whatever you call them. Destroyers, master destroyers.
I think the head just looks a little bit small. I don't know.
He looks like something from Fraggle Rock, doesn't he? Or the Muppets.
Yeah, it does. It does look like a pea head on top of that body. But anyway, card back. He's in 5th place. Just as we're going through these, I said to you before we got on air that I actually found it quite easy to pick my top 5, not the order that they're in, because I just felt that there's, within the Phantom Menace cards, there's a few that are just a bit, not bad or anything, but just ordinary. They don't really sort of stick out and say, amazing character, amazing figure, amazing card back. They're all a bit sort of.
Do you know something, Tim? I don't think we're going to clash in this. Again, we don't know what we've chosen. I think there's a very good chance we haven't clashed whatsoever, but we'll soon find out. So me next.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Okay, this is another card I would put in top spot. well, not top. It's in my top 5, but the figure sort of puts it lower in this top 5. It's Jar Binks here,
Right.
and for such a goofy character, and I know he gets a lot of hate. I've never had a big problem with him. You mentioned before the Carbonite one. Well, that image there represents the goofiest scene he was ever in.
Yeah.
My tongue is fat.
Yeah. It's almost like they're taking the mick with that one, isn't it?
I love this because it's so classic Kenner, grabbed from the movie, and that is his most serious. He obviously got chosen to lead that battle, but he was doing a good job. Steady. And he was, amazingly. I know it turned a bit goofy after that, but he was taking it kind of seriously. This has got a lot of issues, by the way. I blame Solo shot first for this mic, but that's a separate story for another day. But the figure's all right, but he looks a little bit animated in a way, the figure, like the Clone Wars version. But maybe that's what they were going for, a bit of a all-around Jar Jar at the time. Anyway, I've waffled on long enough.
Well, you said that we wouldn't clash.
Oh, right.
And we already have, because in my 4th place, I have gone with Mr. Jar Binks as well.
How about that?
And as I say, because for me, the picking the 5 was quite easy for me. But this is, regardless of what people think about Jar Jar, as you're right, he does have goofy moments, but he is important to the story, and I don't mind the Phantom Menace. In fact, I think it's a great film. When I first saw it, we're never going to like these films as much as the original trilogy, growing up with the original trilogy, but there are people that grew up with the prequels that think that's their Star Wars, and that's absolutely fine. But I did feel it really felt Star Wars. There was just something about it. The scene for me that really, really gripped that was when they first encounter Maul, and you get that sort of long shot of them scrapping with the lights. I absolutely love that. And but that's just me about the Phantom Menace in general. But yeah, Jar Binks, he's in 4th place for me. I think the card back's great. I love it. A lot of blue sky on there.
Yeah, I know that is nice. That we discussed it before. I was 18 when the Phantom Menace came out, and you're still a kid at 18. And the likes of BOE, he was 30, so you could see. I mean, when I got older, I thought that film started to great in bits when I got older. But if you were 30 watching it, I can understand why you had all these people who immediately disliked it.
Yeah, you're going to scrutinize it more, aren't you? Basically, when you're an adult, because you've got you're more in tune about what a movie should be and what have you. But if you showed, I mean, I remember my son watching the Phantom Menace. He absolutely loved the Battle of Naboo with Jar Jar swinging around on the thing, and the blue ball things. He loves all that. So you can understand why people that were young when they watched it, feel that is their Star Wars. Number 3, mate. What's in your number 3?
All right, okay, back to me. Yeah, my number 3 is an alien, so I'm not speciesist, and this has got to be my favorite pod racer. Mohanek. I love that card back. It's lovely tones. The background blends nicely with the color of his attire. You got a bit of Tatooine there. That species, which are the blah 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 blah.
The Reese species.
Yeah, they've got a name though, haven't they? I've forgotten the name.
Yeah,
but he's a really good figure. I have him on my barge, stood with Sebulba, and he's got a drink in his hand. This guy. And it looks great. They're just like chatting like mates. And I don't know why. It's just I needed figures to put on the barge. And I figured that Jabba would hang out with pod racers since he loves the sport. Probably, so that's it's a double for me this time.
It's like the players' lounge, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course you keep them close by. So it's a double threat, that one. Love the card and love the figure. It's really nice.
I did have a feeling that would be in your top 5, to be honest. When I was looking through them, I thought, I bet Nick picks him. And he is a good one. And for me, he is the best of the pod racers.
Oh, yeah. Like Dan Quadraneros, Egghead, whatever. The stupid, what's she called now? Alice through the Looking Glass type thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it looks like a flannel. Right. What's that famous painting with like the melted clock? That's what I always think.
It's very like him,
I always think of him whenever I look at that. I think of that. I don't know why. Right, number 3 for me. This is okay. So And excuse the reissue bendy card on this one. I do have an unpunched original, but it's packed away. I choose to
I
have
think I know
the
who you've
reissue.
chosen here.
Yeah, so I've gone for Mr. Maul.
Oh, it's not who I thought. But I knew you
VCS.
chose him in your list.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm talking over. It's not even my turn. I was just going to say I knew you'd maybe put him in your list. But anyway, carry on. Sorry, Tim.
Well, he's for me, he's the best thing about the Phantom Menace. We know that he's not dead after this now, but at the time you thought he was dead. And watching the rest of the prequels, I always felt that they missed. Even though Dooku was cool, this guy for me would have been awesome as like the main bad dude throughout the thing, instead of bringing in like Grievous and whoever else. But although those characters are awesome, don't get me wrong, but this guy, the design of him, fantastic. The figure's okay. Cardback's great. One of the best. When those doors open and he's got it like that, awesome. So he's in my number 3. He doesn't quite make it to the top because there's just better figures and a better card back out there, but I had to have him in there, so he's number 3 for me.
I mean, if you're gonna die, you're gonna die, aren't you? I mean, the way he got sliced in half and went down that endless shaft, it's like, how could you ever survive that?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's ridiculous. So what are we up to? Number 2. These are really shocking, Tim. This is high up because again, it's a really amazing figure, I think. I'll just show you it. And I love this card back immensely. I don't know why, but it's got that kind of thing, that action. Look at it, the sparks.
Yeah.
I can't remember what card back I've seen as a kid in the 80s that was like that. I'm sure something did have a fire effect. But when I first saw the vintage collection, right, and knew of its existence, this is one of the cards I saw. And I just loved it. I just saw the soft goods and I could tell immediately it was doing 3/4 inch. I actually was a bit naive at the time. I saw Kenner and I knew of the Kenner brand. And I thought, well, it's separate from Hasbro. So obviously we've got Kenner who are making figures like they did. And we've also got Hasbro who make the current modern ones. I didn't realize they were the same now, if that makes sense. But man, yeah, this is just, I love it. I really like that pilot a lot.
It's like some of the Power of the Force 2s, isn't it? They say Kenner on them, but on the back it does have Hasbro as well, I think, doesn't it?
That's just before the acquisition or the merger.
So they chose to sort of still keep that as the known brand, but then eventually phasing it out over
it's
time.
Just when I saw this figure, I thought, my God, you could just tell immediately the detail, all the attire, the jacket and everything. I thought, wow, that's got a bit more extra than what I was seeing on the pegs in Tesco. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that is another one that I kind of thought you might pick that. I've heard on your videos before you like that one, so that's probably why it was in there. But it is a good one, and like, it didn't quite make.
He's a nobody though. I can't believe I've chosen it. A lot more.
No, he is a good one. My number 2 is.
I'm smiling here because I just don't know what you're going to choose. Is
something that's not in the film. I don't think they are, at least.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, they are. Are they in it at all? Are they in the pod? Yeah. Are they in the pod race bit?
Yeah, you see her, the back of her, when the pod races. They go into Beggar's Canyon, and then you see her looking. Not.
Is there some deleted scenes with her a bit more? I don't know. I haven't really seen.
Well, I don't know about that.
Scene. But yeah, the image on the back there. You're right. That's where you see her, isn't it?
That's the one. Yeah.
Now, the reason I've picked this one is because, once again, it is a lovely card back. Really nice image of her there. But also, I would absolutely love this figure loose. I've seen it reviewed. So many accessories you get there. All those lightsabers in that little case.
Have you tried to get it? Have you tried to get it in the 3D glasses line? The Emergence of the Force or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You can get it in that as well.
I've seen, I think, and Tungori had it for a while as well, but I just never pulled the trigger. So, but she's my number 2. It was between another one and this one for number 1 spot, actually, because I do love this one. This is one of my favorites. Great looking figure, that. So there you go.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, my number 1 isn't going to be Darth Maul. It could have been. I love that image. I know what you're saying. It's like the Qui-Gon, right? That's a classic publicity shot that was just infinitely great. I didn't choose him. Maybe if he hadn't come back, I would have had him on a pedestal. I would have chosen him or something. But you're going to be absolutely amazed with what I've chosen. I'll just show you. For all I've said about her,
Wow, that is.
And I absolutely moaned my ass off, didn't I, about this coming back? But when it all came down to it, Tim, and I was looking at all the cards, and look at it though. I've always loved this card back. I've actually brought out the reissue because I really do want to tip my hat to Hasbro for all I slagged off this coming back. That reissue is phenomenal. That is definitely Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I haven't brought down my unpunched one, but I've always liked it, just the black and the red. And that bit there, that I'll sign no treaty, Senator, that is just her. So a bit of kudos to Natalie Portman. She is really good in that film. She's got a big role, bigger than Anakin had. So yeah, man, it's mad, isn't it?
I am really, really surprised because not because you picked that one, but because there's other ones that you could have chosen basically above that one. And the figure, it's one of those salt shaker figures, isn't it? It doesn't really do a lot, but you're absolutely right, mate. That is the best reissue we've had out of all the ones they've reissued in terms of like updating the face, because usually they do a poor job of updating an older head with the new face technology. They never get it right. That one, they nailed it.
It's probably the best queen figure, period. Like there's other queens you can get which are salt shakers in themselves, but that's a really good one.
Yeah.
And that's of course that scene as well. It's about the scene, that beautiful scene with Palpatine, and also that's like one of the first scenes they shot when they first started that whole production of the movie. Literally the second scene of the day, and then that was it. Day one.
Cool, man. Cool. So my number one then, before we get on to our worst, I've gone all right. So I've gone for this. It's mainly about the card back for me, this one, and it's because I've always not dissed the figure, but I've dissed the thing about the figure and the fact that it uses a mix of hard and soft goods. But I can't get over how much I love I love the Emperor anyway, like in terms of the character. I much prefer this one to the Revenge of the Sith one where he's doing that sort of screaming action thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just looked, because he looked, I loved it when they did that in the film, because that is like the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. Do you know what I mean? Without the scarring, you know? So yeah, I'm not massive fan of the look of this guy. He isn't the one though with
hang on, sorry to interrupt you. Have you got him loose though? Because I tell you what, he looks way better when you get him out of that packaging.
I haven't, no, but he is way better than the puffy, in my opinion, the puffy Revenge of the Sith one. That sort of velvety. I didn't really understand why they did. I don't like that at all. It looks like he's going, like he's a woman going for a meal or something, and she's got I don't know, some velvety thing on. But no, he is great, and the car back,
like freaked me out. When I talked about that day when I went in Forbidden Planet and discovered the vintage collection. I remember seeing him on the pegs as well, and he was almost like freaked me out. He was like this kind of like Victorian doll type thing. You could see all his detail, and he looked a bit weird because he was packed in. He is packed in tight, so you can't really see what he can do. But I tell you what, you get him loose, and you can just see how good it is. And I've never had a problem with that hard goods either, because I think it's seamless. It blends in myself, and it's got that classic silhouette, man, when it's when you pose him.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that hood, I know.
It's very difficult, but it's very difficult to get a soft goods hood to do that.
Oh, exactly, yeah,
isn't it? It is very good, and that is a. I'll tell you a guy who recently did that. It's in Andor. The what's his name? Luthen. When he comes out of the ship, he puts his hood up like that. That's almost got that as well. I love the way they do that. So yeah, he for me is my number one. The dark side characters.
Yeah.
Always love those. Always love the Emperor. So that's it for our top 5. As I said before, let us know your top 5 in the comment section below. We always want to know. We both, myself and Nick, look through the comments and see who you're picking and what have you. And it's always interesting to see what people would pick. So then,
unless people start commenting in the comments, Tim, and start listing stuff from Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, which sometimes happens.
Yeah.
I'll put a video out about Return of the Jedi, and people say, "Oh, my top 5, Anakin." It's like, hang on, you. Stop.
Right. Let's get on to your worst. Who is your worst of the Phantom Menace figures?
I've changed my mind. I know that we'll
Okay.
probably clash here. I haven't changed my mind on my worst, but I'm saying I've changed my mind on what I said before. I think we'll have the same character, but this is crazy because he's a brilliant character, a brilliant figure, and the image. I love the fact that they have done what they've done with it because again, it's that Kenner thing, isn't it? But he happens to just be the worst of the cards because he's so dark. But I feel terrible because that's a really good figure, and I bought this in 2012, and I bought him to open way before I ever kept any of this stuff carded. It was a buy to open job, and obviously this is another one. But I've never been disappointed with that figure. Never quite realized who he was. It was the first time I realized that he existed. This Han Solo style Jedi. When I first saw this on the shelves, very expanded universe in it, and yeah. Anyway, it's just so dark. It's just the worst.
It's probably the worst card back image without a doubt. And also, yeah, you're right. The figure is good.
And you've
chosen a lot of people use it again for customizing it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you've chosen him as well.
I haven't. I haven't.
Haven't you?
No, I've gone for Mr. Flannel.
Oh, him. Flannelhead.
I can't stand these things. Like, the pit droids, man. I mean, I can understand why we've got them. But like, if you ask, like, if we were going through like what we wanted in the vintage collection now, and Andor is like the latest thing, or Obi-Wan is the latest thing, and they brought out something like that from one of those programs instead of like one of the main characters or something, I would not be happy at all.
I mean, before the Disney acquisition, isn't he, as well? You'd think that would be like a Disney injection, like for the kids, you know, some kind of like weird, you know, critter.
I just think he's bizarre. I mean, it is a bizarre, you know, Star Wars has lots of bizarre aliens, but I've never liked that. And yeah, I've got no desire to have it loose or anything like that. So yeah. He's my worst. What is he called? Ben
Quadinaris and Dodo 2 or something. But the thing is, I quite like him because on my wall up there, he's one of my variant guys. So I've got like the US and the regular variants. I've got like all my what are they called now? Pod races. I've got loads of variants in a nice little run, and so he's sort of safe in my respect. Whereas this guy's just all on his own in the corner because he doesn't set the world alight, does he?
Yeah, it was between him and him without a doubt, because that card back is, you know.
But having said that, you can't look at them. It's so mysterious. I kind of love that. So I'm a bit love-hate. I don't hate it at all. It's just it's not the one that stands out, but it's still really interesting. Look at him.
Yeah,
it's a real guy there. Whoever the extra was on that job is now, you know, infinitely cool and respectable because he's that Jedi, you know. Such a unique Quinlan boss.
There we go. We've done our top 5, done our worst. How many did we clash with? I think it was only Jar Jar that we clashed with there, wasn't it?
Yeah, amazing. It's a shame, just very quickly, Tim, that I didn't realize that we'd cut him. I'd forgotten because I was maybe thinking about that going in there. But it's a shame we didn't kind of have it in as well, because you know, when we get to talking about the Attack of the Clones, there's another card that would be nice to bring into the.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
I do, and I was only thinking about it today because I was thinking about whether we were going to record 2 of these today or not. Get the Attack of the Clones one done as well. But yeah, you're right.
More
you're
vintage
right.
collection. It's more. Sorry, I'm talking over you. It's more vintage collection than say VOTC is. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we should.
Yes, it is, and it could easily have been in the line. You know, it could have easily have just had a number. You know.
Would you have chosen this Jar Jar then if you had the chance, or maybe not?
Not in my top. No, because for me it's something that's never really exists. You know, you never saw Jar Jar in Carbonite, whereas the one that we're talking about from Attack of the Clones, she was in the film, so we know who we're talking about.
It's just a block of grey plastic as well. It's crap, and it's not really much of a figure.
It's just a convention. It's like, you know, it's one of those jokey figures that's you know, but it's very, very pricey now on the secondary market as it goes. But yeah, no, I have him up on my shelf, graded, that one. But yeah, no, it's not. I wouldn't know where to and why I would be putting it in my top 5, if you know what I mean, because it's often about the character, the figure, and the card back. And for that one, you know,
that pose.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Right then, guys. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been Only One Bosk with my good friend One Kenobi, and we are going through all of the vintage collection. Next time, it's going to be Attack of the Clones episode 2, which I'm really looking forward to, because that's going to be difficult for me. I'm just thinking about what's in that line, and there's some really, really good ones in that line. So
absolutely.
If you haven't already, subscribe to Only One Kenobi's channel. The link, as always, will be in the description below. Thank you once again for joining me, Nick, and I look forward to doing the Attack of the Clones with you. And thank you, everybody.
Sorry, I missed my cue.
Yeah.
You did. You finish it off, Tim. I was going to say, and we shall see you on the next one. But
we could do it. We could do it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. See you, guys.